Hello, everybody. Today's review will be Superman Returns, directed by Bryan Singer, starring Brandon Routh as Clark Kent, aka Superman, Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, Eva Marie Saint as Martha Kent, Frank Langella as Perry White, James Marsden as Richard White, nephew of Perry, and the husband of Lois in this timeline, alongside Parker Posey and Kal Penn as Lex's goons. And I gotta say, kind of for, forget Quest for Peace as the worst Superman movie, because this kind of took the cake of awful. I mean, I get it was a tribute to Christopher Reeve and all, and in a way, a kind of a fitting tribute because Reeve was the best Superman ever. But Ralph's performance compared to his reprisal in the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earth take on version of it, I would say Crisis was better. It was a fair redemption from this dumpster fire. I mean, because Ralph did a decent job, but just cliched and kind of annoyed by the fact that, except for Man of Steel and Superman Free, almost every Superman movie has always been Lex Luthor. Other than Smallville and Supergirl, you don't see like Cyborg Supes or Bizarro or Metallo. Yet Lex Luthor, they never acknowledged Mercy Graves, except for Supergirl in terms of live action. I mean, Lex Luthor has got to be one of the most overdid villains in about up there with Joker and Blofeld among overused villains. Between comic books and the Double Silververse, which unrelated, but still. And Ralph kind of acknowledged by how Crisis was an excellent redemption alongside when he was the Atom on the Arrowverse timeline as Ray Park, which at first I kind of thought he was a better Atom, but a decent Superman, and kind of a cliched storyline minus the whole Superman goes away for 5 years, and Lois writes an article about why the world don't need him and all and such, and then of course he comes back after his 5-year investigation on Krypton, and also acknowledges another unused villain, Brainiac. Compared to this, I could almost say that the Nick Cage version would have been better. Because it was I get Bryan Singer trying to be tribute to Christopher Reeve and all, but at the same time, I'm just like, you tried too hard to be Ralph, and this one was Brandon Routh was more like trying to be playing Christopher Reeve playing Superman, not actually playing Superman. I mean seriously. And of course with Spacey, he's about tied there with Jesse Eisenberg as worst Lex ever. I mean, nowhere near the caliber of Gene Hackman or Michael Rosenbaum of the Smallville series as Lex. I mean, talk about overacted and a case when comic accuracy goes wrong because him bald just did not look right. I mean, Hackman didn't do it bald, didn't go bald. Or should I say, kept a hairpiece on the whole time. And kind of a fitting reference to an official with Christopher Peace, given how they were filmed 19 years apart. And at the end of that, Superman says, "See you in 20." And given cliched story and the whole deal of love triangle between Soup's Perry White's nephew and Lois, aka Lois's current husband in that timeline. Although I gotta say, Kate Bosworth did an excellent job of being Lois Lane, and she knocked it out of the park. And I mean, although Harley Young beats Erica Durance of Smallville and Bitsy Tulloch of Superman and Lois compared when it comes to Lois Lane's. And I've gotta admit that Frank Langella did a good job of Perry White, because and how they did with Jimmy Olsen, making him traditional and all. But overall, it was just absolutely too cookie cutter. I gotta admit, it's great if you're in the mood for it, but not the best Superman adaptation. And of course, it did have some good parts that weren't in trailer scenes, like when Lex cut the lines of that Mustang that his so-called girl was driving, just to throw Superman off his trail while he did a bank job and all, which compared to various other adaptations was a bit much of, and that and the whole deal with an elderly woman at the beginning, and it's sort of affair. Like, what was he thinking? Thinking he was Denzel from Brickleberry, and overall, I might as well just give this about a 3 out of 5, because 3 for the actually scratch that and make that a 2.5. I mean, great effort, but just long, drawn out, cliched. And all there was rumor that they were supposed to do Zod, but Jude Law backed out at the last minute because he was supposed to play Zod in that movie. But then again, that's about the only other so-called canonical villain they've actually used in a movie. Is either Lex or Zod. I mean, this adaptation tried too hard to be something it wasn't, instead of trying to be too original. I mean, Singer, he might have did a good job with X-Men, but Ness was just very lackluster. I mean, I'll admit that has some good parts, like him stopping that robbery and the whole slow motion bullet scene, which of course we all know Superman's bulletproof and all. As unless Lex, of course, wanted to use kryptonite bullets, but to defeat Superman, which for a villain. I'm surprised he hadn't played that one out. But then again, Lex Luthor had that mentality with Superman, like he did with, like how Joker, well, like how Joker does with Batman. You know, one needs the other, kind of deal. And of course, with a redeemed role take on it with Crisis, which means Brandon Routh is kind of the best part of it, but rest of the movie could be debatable compared to that overacting dumpster fire Kevin Spacey's performance was, and oof. Like I said, I give it about a 2.5. I mean, the whole Fort Lex getting us access to Fortress of Solitude for some reason, and then it wanted did a line about stole 5 years of my life and blah 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 in a line, and I'm just like, yeah, that just proves that he just had that mentality, like he needed Superman, like Batman needed Joker, kind of hoopla. Which what I kind of expect from a one I'm giving a 2.5 for. It's kind of bad when it's something that wanted to say was good, but just couldn't admit how crappy it was. All right, y'all. I'm about done with this. Hope y'all like the review. Keep sending suggestions. Keep getting to work. Keep advertising get my channel out there, and yeah, y'all know the rest. All right, y'all.